What's up, my people? First and foremost, before we even talk about Nigeria, we need to take a look at Tanzania tonight, where a woman, the very first female president that they've ever had in Tanzania, turned out to be a dictator. We've been talking about this woman for a while, especially when she started deporting Kenyans who came into Tanzania to fight for the opposition in Tanzania. Ladies and gentlemen, this woman, Madam Samia Suluhu Hassan, 65 years old, started out doing well when she became president. Remember that their former president, Magufuli, died, and she was the vice president, and then they made her the president. When she became the president, she was doing well. She freed all the journalists that Magufuli had jailed, all the opposition that Magufuli had put in prison. She released them. She allowed the press to operate with freedom. People were celebrating this woman all over the world. And then at some point, people realized that suddenly you can't say anything against the president. Opposition members were being arrested. They were being jailed. Young people were being tortured. Political opponents, human rights defenders, and journalists, they were disappearing. They were seeing dead bodies of opposition members. You won't believe that between last year and now, dozens of people have already disappeared. And then she barred opposition candidates, as in they literally removed their names from the ballot paper. And the most popular opposition candidate, Uncle Tundu Lisu, we've talked about him before, she put this man in prison since April, all because he called for an electoral reform. And guess what? They had election on Wednesday, just this Wednesday. So all the major opposition candidates were not allowed to be on the ballot paper. What kind of election is that? Not just that, foreign journalists were banned. They were not allowed to enter Tanzania to monitor the election. How can the most popular opposition candidate be in prison and you're having an election? They charged him with treason. This is an offense that is punishable by death, by the way. And they keep postponing his court hearing. And then at some point, this woman shut down the internet in Tanzania so that the world will not know what is happening in Tanzania. Some weeks to the election, by the way, a soldier made a video revealing that the government had been stealing from the people. And he was urging people to push back. He was also urging the military to take over. The video went viral on social media. And so they had the election this Wednesday. People didn't turn out to vote because they were like, what's the point? You are the only major candidate on the ballot paper. We already know that you are trying to rig this election. And to nobody's surprise, they are telling us now that Madam is winning by 95%. We're like, 95%? How? The devil is a liar. Even Paul Biya of Cameroon, he brought the numbers down to like 71 before this last election that he said 53. How can you say 95% of the people voted for you? So who are the people protesting? Her party has been in power since independence in 1961, yet she's trying so hard to hold on to power. So as expected, after the election, people started protesting. Since Wednesday, people have been on the street protesting. So she declared curfew so that people will not be on the street protesting. People are not observing the curfew. They are out there protesting. And then once again, she shut down the internet in Tanzania and she shut down social media. She also doesn't want people using WhatsApp. But you know, young Tanzanians are like, no, these are not our fathers. We will fight back. They are changing their VPN. They are finding means of sending out videos of what is happening in Tanzania. This is not just a huge disappointment, considering that this is a woman. We are always advocating for more women participation in politics, for women to be given more opportunity to govern in Africa. But look at what this woman has done. You would think that being a woman, that she would have empathy. As a mom, she's 65 years old. At the age of 65, you would think that this woman will have empathy as a woman, as a human being. But hers is actually worse than their former president, Magufuli, because Magufuli, even though he was arresting journalists, he was arresting opposition, he was opened. Like, he was very transparent about it. You knew this is what you were getting. But for this madam, she will speak so calmly, you won't know that this is what she's capable of doing. Huge shout out, by the way, to Kenyans for standing in solidarity with their Tanzanian neighbors. Guys, Kenyans have put Tanzania matter on their head like kilo day. I know they have their own issue in Kenya as well, and they are fighting for justice in their own country. They are saying that Ruto must go. They are fighting. Young people, they've been protesting a lot in Kenya, but beyond all that is happening in their own country, they care about what is happening also in Tanzania. Kenyans have been heavily involved since this woman became a dictator. As a matter of fact, when they were trying opposition leaders in Tanzania, Kenyans were literally flying into Tanzania. Some of them will fly, some of them will drive, just to go and stand in solidarity with the opposition leader being tried in court. Remember that some months ago we reported how this woman deported Kenyans for coming into her country to stand in solidarity with the opposition. She was telling the world that Kenyans were coming into her country to destabilize her country. Can you imagine? And then, of course, Kenyans refused to back down, educating people about what is happening, that this woman is becoming a dictator. I honestly wish that all of us as Africans can do what Kenyans are doing when it comes to what's happening in Tanzania. I wish we can all come together and speak with one voice and condemn what is happening. Imagine Nigerian President Tinubu standing up to say, no, this should not be happening in Tanzania. Imagine if other African presidents also stand up to condemn what is happening in Tanzania and what is happening in Cameroon. But they can't, because they are all birds of the same feather. All of them have skeleton in the cupboard. Now, this is public service announcement for Nigerian celebrities, because our election is also coming up. I know it's 2027, but by next year, people will start campaigning. Let me just beg of you, please and please, don't collect money from anybody to sing praise anybody, because guess what is happening in Tanzania now? People are going after the celebrities, the influential people that campaigned for this woman, because they've decided if we cannot reach her, we will reach the celebrities, we will reach the people that spoke up on her behalf. They're going after their businesses. One woman has a restaurant. They literally tore down the entire restaurant. They're burning down the businesses of celebrities that were praising this madam. So if you are a celebrity in Nigeria, if you have a lot of followers, if you are a blogger, let me just beg of you, because this coming election in Nigeria will definitely be major. Nigerians are tired. Anyways, we'll keep you guys posted on what is happening in Tanzania. Now, moving on to Nigeria, if you've been seeing that hashtag, Justice for Ochanya, it's the story of a girl who was sent to live with her uncle and her aunt because there was no school in her village and she wanted to go to school. So her mom sent her to go and live with her sister and her husband. By the time this girl turned 8 and she was there with them, the son of this uncle and auntie, Victor Obuja, started raping this girl. And then when he was caught, the father rebuked him, only for the father to continue with the same thing that the son was doing. So from the time that Elizabeth Ochanya Ogbanje was 8 to the time that she was 13, both the father and son raped this girl repeatedly for years. This uncle that was raping her, by the way, is a lecturer at Benue State Polytechnic and some kind of elder in his church. So for 5 years, they were taking turns raping this girl until her body shut down. She developed VVF, vesical vagina fistula. She started leaking pee and poop uncontrollably. She was in the hospital for about 2 months at a time. She started getting sicker and sicker and sicker until she died. This is a video of Elizabeth Ochanya speaking about her experience at her uncle's house just a couple of months before she died.
When I was 8, the son started sleeping with me. Then when the sister caught him, then the father scolded at him, and that was when the father started. But I was not feeling fine, so I came back home. I went to Federal Medical Center in Makurdi here. I spent 2 months and 5 days there.
Guys, only God knows where this girl would have been today. And you know, the most annoying thing is that the wife of the uncle knew. Her auntie, the sister of her mother, knew what was happening. Not only did she not protect her, but all the medical tests that this girl did, about 11 different tests that she did, this woman hid every result from her mother. This auntie could have saved this girl. The moment it happened once, you call your sister, you tell her this is what has happened. Like, you face the music right there. My son is still in the house. Please come and take your daughter. If she has done the right thing, right when it happened with the son, the husband wouldn't have had the opportunity to even get in the picture. By the way, she told Ochanya's mother, her own sister, when she was confronted, she told her that, oh, it was just her son, that her husband has nothing to do with it, and that it only happened once. And I'm like, is that supposed to make it okay? Even though we know that it wasn't once, but this idea that it was just once. And then she added that they scolded the boy and that they all prayed they prayed together and they moved on. And I'm like, what? Prayed? Like, how? Who? What? What's that? I know that we use religion to cover all kinds of evil. But can you imagine somebody saying they prayed and they moved on when your own child, when your own husband molested someone else's child? In fact, as a woman, I thought she would be concerned for her own daughter. I thought she would wonder what this man is doing on campus where he's teaching. After Ochanya died in 2018, her family members refused to keep quiet. They were taken to court, and the wife as well, for knowing about it and not protecting her, not protecting Ochanya. Guess what happened? Before the court hearing started, the son disappeared. He was a final year student at the Federal University of Agriculture in Makurdi. Till today, they don't know his whereabouts. But guess what? People say that he's active on social media. Meanwhile, her uncle that was raping her, Andrew Obuja, in 2022, a court in Benue cleared this man's name of all charges. They cited conflicting medical reports and an inability to match his DNA to the evidence. What's that? And just like that, they released him. Until today, he's still lecturing. Can you imagine? By the way, they jailed the auntie for 5 months for negligence, for not looking after the child that was in her care. But the alleged rapist was released. Like, how? Nigeria is not a country where victims of rape get justice. As a matter of fact, the National Bureau of Statistics said that less than 1 in 10 rape cases ever result in conviction. It's like our justice system actually shield the perpetrators and continuously fail the victims. According to a 2021 report, in the last 46 years in Nigeria, only 65 people have been convicted of rape. 65, a country of 200 million people. I mean, between May of 2023 and April of 2024, within 1 year, more than 1.4 million people in Nigeria reported sexual offenses, but only 65 people have been convicted in 46 years. How is that possible? And just so you know, 60% of rape survivors in Nigeria, 60% are children. Unfortunately, there are so many Ochanyas today, not just girls, boys as well. And in many cases, just like hers, the perpetrators are people that the family trusts. It's not just the government. As a nation, it's like we collectively like to silence victims. And that is why Ochanya died. If a whole senator can be accused of lying because she talked about sexual harassment, like there were so many people online that did not even know this woman from anywhere. But how dare you accuse a whole Senate president of sexual harassment? It's not until you are raped that it is called sexual harassment. By the way, I love the fact that this woman wrote a letter to the Senate inviting all her colleagues to come and witness the projects that she's been doing in her constituency in the last 2 years.
Distinguished colleagues, on Sunday, November 2, 2025, I shall mark 2 years in office in the service of the good people of Kogi Central Senatorial District as their senator, with the commissioning and flag off of projects and constituency empowerment. This letter therefore serves as a formal invitation to you all to grace and participate in the activities marking my second anniversary in office. Yours truly, Senator Barrister Natasha H. Akpochi-Uduaghan.
Wow, child. Look at that. I don't even think that she was making this announcement so that they would actually show up. Hopefully they do. But I think that she was trying to let them realize that despite the 6-month suspension, despite all the court cases because she spoke up about sexual harassment, that work never stopped in her constituency. That her people are still being taken care of, and also to hopefully challenge them to do better. I think that they should even mandate that all the lawmakers should show us what they are doing with the money that they are collecting to develop their constituency, because they are all getting allowance to develop their constituencies. And so November 2nd, where will you be? Of course, in Kogi Central. And once again, I keep asking myself, where are the other women at the Senate? Let me know what you guys think about that. And please, don't forget to tweet about justice for Ochanya, and we'll keep you posted on what's happening in Tanzania. Hit that subscribe button if you're yet to. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Until next time, I will see you all here. Peace out.